Hello and welcome to Game Club, and today we are in charge of an A&E desperately trying to solve problems in Dr. Panic. Right, let's start with a unboxing. Et voila. So the box, I like this kind of anime type imagery. I think that will certainly attract kids. You know, it's targeting a particular audience, but I think it also would play well with a family. If we flip it over just quickly, they'll like the back of the box as well. Once again, it keeps everything light-hearted. Obviously the mention of a whoopee cushion is always good. You do also get the application, the app as well, which has a soundtrack and also some additional components. I believe it has a timer as well, which is very useful. And the game, just to note, obviously 8 years plus, 2 to 9 players and 12 minutes, so very good indeed. Right, okay, so interesting bits of gauze there. You've got some cards which are useful. Oh look, there you go, you've got some clips which are fun. Whoopee cushion, very good. More cards, nice. And then you've got some, this is the patient cards. That's some random promotional stuff. The repros, all that's there, also promotional stuff as well. Then you've got your Dr. Panic instruction, or the rules, very good. Introductory game, just to get you off and starting, nice. You've got your time, I think that's for the medication, pharma, your body parts, and then you've got your doctor equipment there, looks like CAT scan, CT scan, and then you've got your sort of bits and bobs there, but all very good, superb. So we'll set that up and play it, and hopefully next you'll be able to see a playthrough of Dr. Panic and then a review. In front of me is Dr. Panic set up what effectively is what they call the introduction game. And as you can see, we have some of the cards set out now. And just to show you, they have this sort of introduction game guide, which they recommend firstly you install the app, which we've got here. And effectively you can use it on a smartphone, or if you want to, you can download. There is an MP3 file which basically plays the soundtrack, which is all you really need, because it effectively, all it does is it does the cardiac monitor, and then it obviously does the music to sort of stimulate or simulate tension. Now what you need to do is you need to set up teams. They suggest a maximum of 3 players per team, because you'll be working as kind of surgical teams. You go through and get 1 prescription card, 1 electrode card, 1 instrument card, and 1 scanner card, which we've got here. And then you basically place the items as you can see here. And what we've done is we followed that exactly. So we've got the 24 instrument cards which are laid out here, the body board and the electrode cards here. We've got our pill cabinet just here with our pills, and we have our scanner as well. You won't need any of the other additional items, so there's a lot that you won't get for the first time you play it. So you won't get your stitch board, you won't get your gauze, you won't get your little tweezers, or your whoopee cushion heart pressure or heart pump. And then obviously additional bunch of cards here, including the boss cards, are not used for the basically what is the introduction game. We'll only show you the introduction game because I think it's probably best that when you understand this, going away and doing the next one is quite easy, because effectively what you're doing then is you're playing against time and you're just doing additional tasks. Because on this one, what you've got is, you'll see on here, is it tells you quite clearly you've got the electrode test, instrument test, prescription test and scanner test. And all you do is you press your go button here, and then as you can see it starts. Now this, weirdly, when you install it from Google Drive or Google Apps, it comes up in French for some reason. I'm not sure why that is. I tried to find the UK or English version, I should really say, and I couldn't find it, but I'm au fait with some French, so it was okay to sort of learn. So maybe it might be useful for people to just if they want to learn some French. Well, the electrode test is very simple. The body board that you pulled here, which you can probably see here, will tell you a particular sort of order, and you effectively have to sift through all these to find the order and then place them onto the body board here. The scanner test, as you can see here, it shows a sort of person being effectively taken through the scanner. What you do is you create the scanner with these two here, and effectively like a house of cards almost, and then you have to pass the card through. Now it's a lot more tricky than it sounds, and every time it falls over, effectively you fail the test and you have to start again. Prescriptions, effectively, as you can see here, it's timed and dated, and you're effectively putting these prescriptions into here for the times that the person needs it. And then finally, instruments. As you can see here, it tells you what instruments you need, and you're effectively trying to search those out. And all of this is detailed quite well in the cards here. Then you will go on to your additional requirements, which, as you can see here, it'll tell you how to lay out the board when it's a larger scale game, so with additional elements to it as well. And then it quite sort of cleverly outlines it in simplistic terms possible, so that children and adults can play together, because I think that's something that, well, I'll explain when I do the review, but I think it's something that has really helped with the game itself. Just to note as well, I love this interior box, although it's weird it's got a Game Boy in it and then that character from Guardians of the Galaxy, amongst other things, but it kind of works as a nice aesthetic to it. And then of course the other thing to note as well is you will find when you start off in the first couple of rounds you will end up getting a lot of different elements just sitting aside. Now, just to note, on the app you suddenly have a cardiac arrest which you have to play as well, and there's your code there as well, and you just click on that to make sure that the person's survived. Then you've got a boss phone as well. So what effectively happens is these elements will keep coming in and keep kind of sort of thwarting you as such, so it's not as simple as just that. Although obviously, just to note, and I'll just go back on the patient, you do have a list at the very start which tells you which one you want, and you probably want to start with that one, because then you go into the more difficult ones. There's easy, medium, and then the very difficult one there as well. When I first came to Dr. Panic and saw the box and saw the content, I generally thought, one, great, looks like a kids/adult game, a family game effectively. But then two, I thought, is it going to be a case of style over substance? This kind of anime-esque imagery really is attracting to the current audience, and also people who, and I'm going to say this perfectly honestly, fetishize this kind of cultural sort of attributes. I don't. I think that a lot of this is basically just baggage of a particular group of people who want to associate themselves with a particular brand. However, the thing I would say is that Dr. Panic actually avoids that, because all of this is just to attract kids in. It's all targeting children, because they obviously are concerned that the kind of varied tasks in there and the nature of what this is about could be quite heavy. And it translates very well into a very light game that is fun, that I like the fact they've kept it to 12 minutes, because that allows for people to really work together quickly and then basically breathe. Plus they throw in the elements with the app, which I both thought was very good and also quite hostile, because the problem with the app was that sometimes it can be a famine or feast, and in the harder mode it is just, you can't, it's almost impossible to play if you haven't the focus, which is the problem is you find with some kids is they may not have that focus, which is A+. I would probably point out that this game can be played by 6-year-olds. It's some of the elements are very simple, and if you get the right teams together, you'll be able to do that. The numbers 2 to 9. To be honest with you, you probably could get away with 12 players. You can't do this with 2 players. It just doesn't work. You need at least 4 players. In my perfectly honest opinion, you need 5 players or more, because the game just doesn't work without that. Teams of 3, it suggests you can do teams of 2 quite easily, there's no issues there, but once again, that's where you probably will need 6, or at least if you have 5, you need one person who will do one task and probably will solely focus on that instead of it floating around on other tasks. So the game itself, good mechanics that are very smooth, it works well, especially with the app. The MP3, that whole sort of audio thing worked to a certain extent, but it became stifled because it's very repetitive. It does the same things over and over again. Overall, I think it's a very good game. Is it worth the money? Yes, but probably because you can get at least 8 multiple plays out of it. The 12-minute mark means that it works perfectly for kids, especially kids who are on school holidays or basically playing this when they are on holiday in sort of wherever, hopefully somewhere sunny, especially with what's going on with COVID. But overall, the game itself lacks one thing, which is the fact that it's not really revisitable, because I think that once you've played each scenario once, you kind of become a little anaesthetized, let's say, so medical term there, to the kind of the action and action sort of pull and push. So overall, good game. Certainly for the family, I'd recommend maybe give it for the summer, and you'll probably see lots of these pop up in charity shops after that. That's Dr. Panic. I'm Simon, and this is Game Club, and thank you for watching.